Scout once again pick up the Azir Dagda, like, with how Azir's gone so far in the series?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to find out exactly what all this, honestly, is going to end up kind of panning out of, because there's so many things that are up in the air. Like the Azir, obviously a big one, or maybe you want to just try and fight fire and fire, you go with the Ahri or something here for a scout in the mid lane. The Poppy is trying to be a denial away from the Wukong that could potentially come through for Wei. Also things like the Lee Sins and Zhao, all these don't do so great against the Poppy, but with the Trundle ban away, you know, what's the answer here for Wei? So I think there's a lot of question marks still here, and we're kind of getting to see that this is a highly evolving draft over the course of this series.
Yeah, it is. I mean, adapting some of these top picks. Scout, let's hold for a second, guys. Let's just hold, wait and see. This is something that both teams have looked past in both drafts. Now, finally, the Sylas, which has been a much higher priority in other series, gets looked at by Scout to pick up.
And this is another big pick that I've been keeping my eye on for Scout. A 73% win rate over his career on this pick. Yep. Scout has been phenomenal and was one of the big champions that people watched out for him on in that Worlds 2021 playoffs and finals. So Scout going back to major comfort for him. Strong mid-jungle 2v2. And we'll have to see if EDG will be able to play through that and move down towards the bottom side again. AD carry, I think, is the best pickup here for RNG. I think just having something that's comfort for Gala, like the Aphelios, is going to be the best bet. So Viper will probably go over towards the Jinx here in response.
Okay, well, Jinx available. Outside of that, we're like, Viper has things like Ezreal if he wants to play, you know, to range Dagda and have a stronger mid game. But you're right, Jinx always seems to be the takeaway. I want to look at supports though a little bit, because as we get this pick across, no support picked up. Viper, what are you looking at?
Oh,
Draven.
let's go.
Okay, now all of a sudden I'm so much more interested in supports.
I mean, you have to go for an aggressive support for Meiko here, right? Like, you need something that can play into it. So I want to see, like, Braum bans. I want to see Tam Kench bans. I want to see things that just won't let Gala be safe in this bottom side, because both the Braum is really good against, like, Alistairs, Leonas, Nautiluses, these kind of things. And then Tam Kench is just a pain to deal with, but actually not going to be the case. EDG focusing more on this top side, which is kind of surprising, considering that, like, you still have Gnar, these kind of things still available, that maybe EDG are just like, we're going to ban that away, despite the Flandre has counterpick.
Yeah, maybe set up for like, okay, well, do they look at support counterpick Dagda? Quite rare to see. I feel like specific conditions need to be met as we get a set ban against Meiko once again, and that makes sense. Set and Draven, just lore-wise, seem to be perfect for each other, you know? That literally is the most egotistical bot 2v2.
I mean, it works out pretty well, especially they're both in the fighting arena, right? So, I mean, everything is just perfect for them. But I will say, you definitely want something that can kind of fight fire with fire in this, fight alongside the fire that Draven brings to the lane here in the bot side. And again, don't forget that Draven was mildly nerfed coming in onto 12-13 because Eclipse's max health damage was moved from 6% to 3%. So, a lot of people still building Eclipse. Like, we've still seen some people go towards Immortal Shield Bow. There's some Gale Force builds, but Eclipse still being the prominent build means that you're not hitting as heavy in this matchup, but Draven's still a very strong pick into the Aphelios.
I just love that the Vibe has the confidence to bring it out in the last game as we get a Vladimir ban against Flandre yet again. And we talked a little bit about Xiaohu losing Lissandra, but Vladimir has now been the 4th most banned pick against EDG overall. Flandre just will not get his hands on it after he has done well with the 3 games he's picked up so far. Now, you talked about, though, while speaking about top laners, Dagda is just going to be locked in here for priority, meaning Meiko does get counterpick on the support for EDG.
Which I think is a great call here. That's why I was kind of surprised that we didn't get more more support bans coming through. Like, Gnar can do relatively okay into this Sejuani. Sejuani has like kill pressure level 6, but it's not too bad. But either way now, Meiko should still be able to go, right, if you go for the Nautilus, I can take Alistar in this bot lane, I can take the Leona, the more aggressive side of this matchup, and try to play for the 2v2. And if you end up trying to take something like a Braum, cool, I'm just going to go Enchanter. And then it's like, oh, well, now you actually don't have that safety tool anyway, because now we just get poked, you get poked down a lane. So nice draft here from EDG on these last 2 picks to kind of push RNG into an uncomfortable spot.
As you said, looking at something like the Leona, match the engage here with the dredge line that is, you know, constant response in the past with things like the Leona picked up. We've got Breathe on his comfort, though. We can talk about that in a second. At the very least, I just want to see how EDG rounded up. And yeah, Meiko once again back on the engage here, Dagda. And that 2v2 lane for EDG, trying to set that up for success, seems to be the game plan this time around again.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is we're going to see a hell of a lot of pressure down here. Now, the downside is Scout doesn't really get much priority in the mid lane on this matchup. So Xiaohu can still look to go for these roams that he's been so good at finding and cause issues down for this bottom side of the map. Jiejie as well, like, will be able to have some presence on this bottom side just with how aggressive the bot lane is, but still needs to be careful if Wei does try and answer some of these 3v3 plays. But I think EDG should still be enough just with the jungle AD carrying support to take these bot lane skirmishes.
Yeah, you feel pretty confidently, right? Like getting down in the scraps for EDG, at the very least, the lane exploding too. It's a great way to end our final game of this series, Dagda, when we've been on a 9-game night here for our LPL match of the week for what day is it? It's now Sunday for me. So, yeah, I'm in the future. And the fact that we've gone all the way, you know, waiting for this match of the week, and both game 1 and game 2 have been stompy. RNG came through 26, 27 minutes, EDG absolutely destroyed. Likewise, in game number 2, EDG brought in Jiejie, and a 25-minute game, RNG gets stomped. We come into game 3 with a different angle on drafts, with some more comfort back in the pocket. Viper, who is deathless on this Draven. You know, Scout returning to something like the Sylas, which he's already played 3 games of. Xiaohu's Taliyah insane. Breeze GP the same. There's a lot of comfort here to round out as we get into our final game of our match of the week. RNG versus EDG. One is moving to 8 wins. One is moving to a firm 4th place position at the end of this week. And one team is getting closer than the other to locking in the playoff spot next.
And this has been such a good match of the week. We've seen both sides being able to run away with the many advantages that they get in the early stages. As Wei nearly falling afoul of Jiejie there. But the big thing is remembering just how well these teams can snowball when they get a lead. And in particular, for EDG, that's exactly what they're going to want to try and do. Get Viper ahead, play through this enormously strong mid-game that Scout and Viper are going to be able to bring to the cards, and see if they can power home through these early dragons. Whereas when you're looking across at RNG, it's kind of Xiaohu once more being the blessed guardian to make sure that Breathe and Gala can hit that late game.
I mean, he's always been good on the roams. As EDG set up for the vertical jungle, though, Wei wants the other response. Flandre's zoning him off. But as Breathe walks in, I mean, Flandre's going to get sandwiched here. So the vertical jungle might be working, but Flandre's, he hops over the top, denies him completely. Scout moving in, but it's still going to be Raptors started off here, while EDG set themselves up on the Draven side of the map.
And that's the thing. Split map here works out so well for EDG. Flandre may have to jump on Breed's head once more to get on out of here, as we're just going back and forth. But having that control.
Gala walking up without his support. Ming was spotted by Jiejie, trying to stop the Krugs. Bit of a disconnect from the RNG 2v2. And now Jiejie, as they walk towards him, I mean, Gala just had to burn Flash Dagda. He's half HP.
I mean, you're not even denying these right here. So the potential dive is so good for EDG. Meiko going to help to finish these out. Jiejie hits 2 and will walk away. But, I mean, you have to be so careful here that EDG don't try and push a little bit further. But Jiejie did end up, or will be forced back away. Wei is going to be able to move over towards these Raptors. So the funny thing is, with all this movement about, Wei is actually going to come out ahead on XP because Raptors is the most valuable camp on the bottom side apart from the buff. So 2 Raptors picked up for Wei, whereas now you only get one. You're not able to get one at all here for Jiejie. Means that Wei will hit the level 3 fast, as you can see, and will have a bit of an experience lead.
And at the very least for Gala, I mean, taking away the Krugs, you know, getting a couple of camps, like, means that this Poppy is now neck and neck. Wei has a full top side to clear too. And Jiejie has no more camps in this bottom side apart from the Wolves. You can see already Jungler's gearing up for the bottom side scuttle too. And Wei wants to take this while that was a very early piece of movement from Xiaohu, who now TP's back to his mid lane.
yeah, just to make sure that Breathe would be able to collapse this wave. But there was never really going to be much of a threat from Jiejie, I believe, like just running straight up there, knowing that he only had the Krugs up and available on that top side. But just making sure that if Flandre did try to do anything funny, that you would have Xiaohu back there. And Xiaohu's not even going to miss out on much. Like, still had to burn the TP to get back, but will catch this wave. Scout will probably reset himself as he pushes this in, and then look for his own TP back into mid lane.
Yeah, with that available as well, should be able to match Corrupting Potion tier start here from Xiaohu as Wei gets top side Scuttle. Bottom side did go over to EDG, so still priority given over to Viper. But as we settle down a little bit, just look at where the wave is. Dagda, Viper, and Meiko, it's pushing against them. They've got the perfect state here to lure in Gala and Ming.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got no flash on Gala, so this would be the moment to go for it. Meiko trying to eye it up. Cleanse is still available, though.
Gala and Ming still being so careful. Xiaohu walks on down, as you say. He's going to be walking past the Warden River. The Scuttle gets it. So Junji's going to be waiting patiently for when he comes back. You can see it's like, okay, Ming and Gala think they're the targets, but it's actually going to be Xiaohu who is going to get jumped on by Junji as he walks back into the mid lane. This is so smart from the new EDG jungler. Scout jumps in. Denial's not there yet. The flash burnt. Chain lash damage, hammer shock, and EDG get the summoner out, but Scout had to burn his in the process.
The stun on Scout lasted that little bit too long. The abscond had already gone through, so as Junji tries to use his charge to knock Xiaohu back into range from the abduct, the stun was just that little bit too long, so Xiaohu gets that moment to flash, and Scout isn't able to land that CC, so they could have followed up. So Xiaohu will just about get out with his life, but as you say, like, great play coming through for Junji to start that up, because you deny Xiaohu a decent wave. You're trying to keep him under control in the mid lane, because he's the big bridge for RNG to the later point, and as long as he can't interact on bot side, that's a win for EDG.
I mean, for RNG though, let's be real, the Dragon going to be taken off the back of the play with Xiaohu able to move back in. However, as RNG take this Dragon, look at what's happening. I mean, Junji's back on the bottom side of the map, but more importantly, look at Viper and Meiko angling themselves with only a longsword in the inventory. I mean, Viper needs a back here, Dagda, but what I'm saying is bot is still an absolute travesty. 25 CS lead, and Viper is almost level 6.
And, I mean, Serrated Dirt going to be picked up on this rotation. Junji now going to run into Wei.
He's back again. I mean, this counter gank is good from Wei as Xiaohu pivots towards both mid laners having level 6, but one more impactful than the other as Junji gets out with a heroic charge. And Xiaohu now has mid push Dagda, and he's got the Weaver's Wall to start moving across the map.
A face rush Poppy with steadfast presence moves so damn fast.
It really
I'm surprised
does.
Every time I see it. But, I mean, nice play there from Wei. Again, keeping Xiaohu safe, making sure that EDG can try and punish the flash to his mid laner. And again, just Wei in a 1v1 against Junji will end up being the winner. So a lot of the time, Junji needs help from strong laners. And unfortunately, Scout just doesn't have control over the mid lane right now to try and lend that aid.
Junji,
This
though,
is
back
dangerous,
on the red buff.
though.
I mean, yeah, dangerous indeed. As you said, Scout not lending much to the mid side, but timing seems to be in their favor as he waits in the brush, looking to steal a depth charge. Ming is going to have to check this one out, but Wei clearing the Krugs away for now, and the red buff going to be spotted out, but it's way too late. Ming jumping forward as the dredge line gets him away from it. Wei tries to poke his head in, and I realize that away from Wei lines up, and we continue doing circles around this name. But as he leaves, I mean, RNG wants something on the bottom side, Dagda, but there's going to be a hard ask.
I mean, this wave is pushing out perfectly for Viper, so he's going to be in a spot where he can try and collect this, make sure it's safe. Now, we'll have to see what RNG's plan is with this big wave, because they can move up towards Rift Herald if they want to. Maybe they just look for a dive as well, but Xiaohu, incredibly low on mana in this mid lane, means he's not really in a position to try and roam down. Wei looks like he's just going to help Ming and Gala crash this wave, and then the team can try and rotate up towards that Rift Herald.
As meanwhile on the top side, Breathe versus Flandre continues to happen. Good barrel chain here from the top lane GP. Remember that Breeze ult, Dagda? We haven't actually talked about that. Semi-global presence here from Xiaohu. Global presence from Breeze towards any gank setup or any turnabout play.
I mean, that's what RNG are going to be trying to use dramatically here as they all start to come out of the base. Trying to see if they can make some sort of play happen on this top side before Rift Herald could be very important. The good news for them, though, is that because Viper doesn't have the best wave clear on Draven, he hasn't actually reset since that initial time. So only sitting on the Serrated Dirk and the Vamp Scepter means he's not massively big as Jiejie might get caught.
Yeah, he's away from the seismic shove at the very least. Stretch line doesn't hit either way. That 3 out of 3 that Jiejie just maneuvers around, and RNG spotted out as a 5-man unit around here. Excuse me, 4. Right in front of the Herald Dagda, but to be fair, EDG have matched this every step of the way.
And immediately RNG have to back off, but they may not get time.
Breathe is here. I mean, we've constantly seen this from Breathe. Wei is helping him out, but Jiejie with the knock up, forcing the flash away. Viper sends out the ulti too, and that damage just means that RNG now all of a sudden can't put a hand near this Herald.
And that was kind of the gambit that RNG made. They were like, look, hopefully we can get to this Rift Herald first before Viper clears that bot wave, before they're able to try and achieve any sort of defense at this Rift Herald. But they don't actually get there in time. They don't get the pick because Jiejie had the fancy feed on. And now RNG are forced to go back to bot lane. They will collapse one wave before Viper gets down here, but the Rift Herald is going to mean so much more for EDG.
I mean, Gala getting the plate needs at least 2 here to be even up. Scout going in for the depth charge onto Xiaohu. Scott of Duck started the play by not hitting. And Scout just using up the hijack before it runs out. Gala here with 320 gold himself, so yeah, it is something here for the Aphelios. And especially since Viper hasn't had a chance to cash in Dagda, we need to talk a little bit about how EDG progressed, because you already mentioned for RNG using this global pressure, but for EDG, it looks like they want to snowball top.
Breathe now, in trouble.
Is he dead? Ulti comes through, and the answer is going to surprise you. First blood goes over to Jiejie, and EDG now have themselves Flandre in a great spot.
Yeah, and I mean, getting that early kill for Flandre is going to be spectacular in this matchup. And again, now you kind of just get to move Jiejie back down to the bot lane as Wei will spot Meiko.
I mean, Dredge line to get into position. Meiko flashes over the wall. The Weaver's wall comes in, and Xiaohu doesn't follow it through. So a couple of tools used there, Dagda, just as RNG try to find their pick.
The RNG are trying to beat EDG to the bot lane brawl there. If they can make that play happen, you don't get to use the Rift Herald on bot side, which is where EDG really want to try and use this Rift Herald. Like, get Viper ahead, make sure he's the big carry, and especially because the mid lane matchup starts to shift at around this level, where Scout now can go toe-to-toe against Xiaohu because he's got kill pressure, but Jiejie still waiting on this bot side. Not going to be able to get much more, though, with RNG still floating about in a lot of situations, trying to threaten a fight.
I mean, so surprising. EDG constantly hover. There's no play. There's no dive. There's no response, because Wei has also been shadowing so well as Dredgeline kicks it off for Ming. In a 3v3, the depth charge goes to the Draven. Viper is separated, but Jiejie makes it even better. Ming flashing himself as Gala now has the shurikens to really deal some damage away from the seismic shove, but can you get away from Gala? Viper has spinning axes as the blood rushes to his head, but EDG are forced out simply because RNG's tools look to be better, Dagda.
I mean, Jiejie going to try... Oh, I was going to say, I thought he was going to try and heal off the Gromp, but not going to be the case. But yeah, RNG, like, they may not be as strong in a fight, but just better coordination there on the play. They move in as one. Oh, hang on.
Okay, we're doing it again, and Meiko just setting up. Solar Flare comes down, and RNG don't suffer for it.
Okay, yeah, just going to be able to walk away. So, I mean, Meiko kind of more yelling in frustration there with the ultimate. The problem was that where RNG contested from just made it very easy for them to jump on towards Viper. Viper wasn't able to try and follow up with Jiejie as he went deep onto the play, and from that point forward, you're still waiting on Scout to join in, whereas Xiaohu can come across a hell of a lot faster. So just EDG not quite getting their ducks in a line before they went for that play, and RNG get 2 dragons for themselves already.
Yeah, really good early game. I feel like with EDG getting first blood before and getting the gold lead throughout some of these lanes, the problem is that the gold hasn't really developed in this Draven's pocket, right? Viper is level 7, Gala's level 8. CS is being caught up as Herald goes down mid. Smite, hit the eye. Goodbye, Shelly. You don't get to live. That first Herald dropping down, and, you know, what happens when Shelly dies? The age-old question. Been wondering for a while, Dagda, because that Herald, with it being not great at all, gold's going to stay even, and Shelly, that was just a waste of resources.
And it was a waste of resources for EDG, pretty much, not only like on that in Rift Herald play just there, but the setup as well. Like if you cast your mind back, EDG dropped away bot for Viper. They end up losing 2 plates on that bot side for that Rift Herald as well. So in theory, they're supposed to be able to answer back. They're the early aggressive team. They're the ones that should be dictating the pace of the game. But RNG's map movements mean that they're keeping pace with EDG, not allowing them to grow this lead. And RNG now keeping within touching distance of the gold. And as they start to scale towards 3 items, EDG need to make this happen.
Oh. If they get Viper, that's 117 CS of adoration down the toilet. Viper stepping up, RNG being patient. Xiaohu walking down, he's got the Weaver's Wall. Viper, if he dies, EDG Dagda, I'm going to be so worried. Meiko looking for the ward, they're being so cautious. He knows that this game relies on him quite a lot as, yep, RNG's Gala shows himself out of the brush, and that's good resilience from EDG's bot lane. Not to lose what could feel like the game, Dagda, if they both go down.
Yeah, Spidey senses coming in clutch there for Viper. Not walking that far forward, knowing there were so many members of RNG missing. They had to be somewhere, so does it end up falling? Hook goes wide as well from Ming. They really want to try and kill Viper. But, I mean, for EDG, they just haven't been able to play as heavily around Viper as they would like to. Eclipse now completed for the Draven. This is where he can really deal some damage. But again, like, you need to get him snowballing. And so far, Scout not having control over mid to play around this bot side. Junja not really in a position as well.
Whoa. Ulti misses. Okay, he survives for now. Viper again. The Whirling Death comes out to help clear the wave. EDG, this is their response. Moving down as a unit. The Weaver's Wall going to catch them, but Xiaohu's just going to get in the nick of time. His depth charge is stolen onto Gala in the backline. He just used his ulti, but the flash needs to come through. Cleanse as well going to be held onto as Cannon Barrage helps out for the play. Wade joins in as Xiaohu's at full HP and has a firing line, but EDG are not taking damage through the minion wave as they manage to get themselves a kill. It's no cash in though, Dagda, but hey, it's still going to be one for EDG to get themselves a much-needed gold as Flandre in the top side. Hammers down, hits Breed into a wall. Everything connects as the barrel chain does not. The house thrown, the mortgage lost as backing in place. Viper flushes away. Adoration, adoration, no adoration, adoration. No! Dagda, money down the drain. Just like in this economy, everything's going to ruin.
Snakes not going to be able to cash in. The fact that Viper was so close, I was like, this guy's wiggled his way out of it. He's managed to get it, but no, can't get the kill just before he goes down. And that's heartbreaking for Viper. But Flandre will get top tower, will get a good amount of control here, even forces the flash out from Breed. So at least top side of the map going well, but we'll catch it here. So Viper just sticking around that bit too long, gets caught by Xiaohu here. And this is, oh yeah, just spots Draven on the Scryers as well. And with that, look how close this is. Like one more auto would have just been enough, but not going to be the case for Viper.
He had like 130 CS Dagda. That cash-in would have been huge. Picked up an assist in the previous play. It was a trade, but for EDG, despite the 3k gold lead, it's all that extra gold that's been missing. And remember, RNG got the early dragons as Meiko wants a face check. It's a flash from Ming. Bit of a mistake as Flandre comes in without Gnar, but that Solar Flare maximum values Whirling Death coming in. A good ultimate here from Junja as he sends him flying, but look at Gala forward with the Gale Force while the GP picks up the pick, but Breathe is just going to sacrifice his life as the seismic shove comes in, and Gala running through a choke, a stolen cannon barrage. Gala dying. At least now Viper gets some money on his side. The bank interest pays off, and Xiaohu trying to 1v3 here in the middle of everyone. I mean, Flandre's walking up, Boomerang Blade, scouts on in, and denied. 2-0-2, EDG. That gold now is checking in.
5,000 gold now suddenly swinging for EDG off the last few plays. EDG looking to hit the mid-game in their stride. Dragon will go their way, but unfortunately not having some of these more valuable dragons in the early stages means there's a long walk for EDG to get to these neutral objective fights. And RNG, I don't really know why they're trying to contest Dragon here. Like, realistically, just play for Rift Herald, play away from EDG, but they get baited thinking they have to play, not expecting that Flandre was going to be here, and Meiko turns it perfect.
I feel like everyone forgets how tanky Leona is and how much time he can buy. Gala here going for the commitment, and Dagda, Breathe caught out. I feel like it's something we say quite a lot here out of the top laner as a stolen cannon barrage, dude. Look at the value and look at the cash in. 278 on top. That's 578 for a kill. Essence Reaver now picked up 2-item Draven. Forget what I said before. The fact that he didn't die second time to lose his stacks means it's going to be okay for Viper now.
EDG not in a position, though, to try and threaten the Rift Herald. So, honestly, probably the more valuable of these two objectives going across to EDG. We're just going to back it up.
Scout
Burning Depth not doing
unleashing a bit, Dagda.
Yeah, it's been a little bit messy, say for the last few passages of play, but I mean, look, EDG trying to see if they can continue pushing forward, see if they can get any sort of advantage here, because not having either Rift Herald really work out for them now. First one being a dud, second one they're going to RNG. It feels like EDG are kind of losing these big objectives that can help them crack open turrets, that can help them push open the game. Now, they are winning out in side lanes. Like, Scout going to be in a great spot here against Xiaohu. Flandre already massive in comparison to Breathe as well. So they're getting these ways to try and, push sides, group mid, but with Xiaohu having Weaver's Wall up and available, Breathe having that cannon barrage as well, it can be very hard to try and hard force these moments where you've got numbers advantage or even kind of just any sort of advantage, honestly, in these mid lane trades. So I think for EDG, it's going to be a bit of a struggle now to try and push the game forward in a manner they'd like before Gala and Breathe get to 3 items.
Yeah, we're looking towards that second item coming through from Breathe shortly. Cloak of Agility already picked up. Gala still sitting on the Gale Force versus 2-item on Viper's Draven. I'm noticing items across the board with a slight effect further towards EDG. Gangplank Chainsaw picked up for the Gnar. And, there is going to be a lot of healing. Viego GP. We expect Gala to have a BT at some point in the game as well, so value is there. As Xiaohu moving to the side lane, I mean, Scout with the Everfrost, that's great, but look, EDG are the ones making the better movement with the TP coming through. I mean, Xiaohu's going to be launched on at half HP, whirling death as well, way in trouble too. As he goes golden, Way is just going to drop down. EDG beating the map plays here as Viper gets even more money. I tried to do the Mr. Krabs.
It wasn't far off, but for EDG, I like this. Remember what we were saying? Look, trying to make plays mid because Breathe can come across with Cannon Barrage. Xiaohu can move in with Weaver's Ball is going to be hard. So instead, they just make the play onto Xiaohu. So then you guarantee the numbers advantage for yourself. And Xiaohu and Wei overextending that bit too far. Really didn't need to try and get that far forward in the lane to clear out the wave. And EDG punish well. Now, Breathe will get the top tower, which is at least going to be some goal back, which is great for RNG, but EDG definitely looking in command now after this play, because Xiao and Wei, they're trying to make the pick on towards Scout, but you're just not in a position to do that. Scout is actually going to be so difficult to deal with right now, even having the stopwatch there, and EDG were more than happy to have an excuse to collapse onto these side lanes.
And the Cannon Barrage not doing much to dismay it. EDG moving as a 5-man unit, 4 bounties across the board. And even though, Dagda, we talk about EDG struggling to advance the gold lead, every time we say that, every time we look at a play, EDG advanced the gold lead.
Yeah.
Scout on the side lane is becoming such a threat. Now with Zhonya's fully completed, Flandre doing well enough in the lane, and you said wait for these 3 items on RNG, but is the game still going to be even fair or even close at that point?
I mean, we'll have to try and find out. EDG as well, this would be such a crucial win for this team. This is the last real threat on their campaign trail to get in towards playoffs, and a win here would put them ahead of RNG as well. So for an EDG that has been struggling, this would be such a dominant voice in that lineup to say, hey, we are here to play, especially ahead of playoffs. Looking this in form back to reality would be a very much something that would honestly cause a lot of fear for teams like JDG, V5, and Top Esports.
It'd be their first win against a major team, right? RNG, we're talking about being a top 4 team. But the other top 4, EDG have lost the Top Esports, V5 and JDG all alike. They haven't been able to bridge the barrier, and this would be their first chance of doing so. Running into, being the first team that gets 8 wins in the LPL. Now, on our maps, we're kind of seeing a Dragon being focused by Junja. The first 2 picked up by RNG, which is why EDG don't have a potential soul by now. But Double Cloud getting picked up. EDG are going to do well here with the slow resist. And it feels like for now, Dagda will just wait and see how this game progresses, with the only neutral being the Baron buff available. And RNG have good defensive vision set up on it for now.
It's going to be interesting to see how easy they can deal with keeping that vision, though, because EDG now have a bit of an easier time in actually trying to make these plays happen that we're talking about, right? Scout can push in that top wave very deep and then start to wrap in behind RNG, which means that you don't have that immediate safety coming through from the likes of the Weaver's Wall. So with these side lane turrets going down, EDG in a bit of a better spot, even clearing out the vision now on this top side as well, just making sure it becomes harder and harder for RNG to compete here.
Imagine moving into a choke. Poppy, Gnar, Sylas, Leona, like everything locks you down. You've only got one cleanse for Gala, and of course there's no other QSS aside from that. He's got the LDR now, but the BT is still not there and available. So as Gala clears out this wave, Dagda further to your vision point, the whole top side is being warded up, de-warded by EDG. Well, the side lane's now being pressured as well, and they've got double TP just about available here for Flandre, so doesn't matter where Scout and he go, they're going to be moving so deep that they can make a play themselves.
Scout going to see if he can try and work now with Flandre, jump on towards Breathe. Xiaohu not in a position to come in with the Weaver's Wall, because so if you overextend just a little bit here as Breathe, that could be it. As now Xiaohu in a position to try and
Trying to predict it. I mean, the Weaver's Wall coming through is going to be everything, and Scout's going to jump in as well. Will Breathe be dead against the wall? The Weaver's Wall puts him in a corner. Flandre just gets the auto attack. It was Xiaohu. I praised him on his Weaver's Wall, but unfortunately, Breathe doesn't have an option there, Dagda.
They didn't realize the Scout was going to be behind, so the Weaver's Wall only really giving a wall for EDG to work with, either with the Gnar ultimate or just with cutting off Breed's escape. And again, these little picks for EDG starting to come in clutch. Well, I don't know if they can get much more off of this play, though. Yes, they're going to be able to get their vision control continued around Baron, but there's no real turrets for them to take. Xiaohu clears out bot wave, so we'll have to see if EDG can get one or two more of these picks, so that then they can actually start to threaten mid turrets, close RNG back into their base.
Well, finding one of these picks will be helped with Jiejie here, who is coming over Jiejie. A lot of people will be tuning in wondering where the world's MVP jungler is, but remember that in game number 1, EDG got absolutely stopped. Jiejie comes in, all of a sudden, everything is bliss again. EDG with 11 kills on the scoreboard, 5k gold lead still stands, and in front of Baron, we're now trying to bait this out. RNG moving as a unit themselves, while EDG continue dropping wards in the area. RNG getting some of their own, which is kind of nice, considering how far behind they are, Dagda. Buying a bit of time to get there as TP's coming through, and just speaking of time, but Scout as he flushes with Abscond of Duck. Xiaohu hitting the dirt again is just showing absolute dominance here out of this Sylas, as EDG now have the opportunity to start this Baron.
I mean, Scout getting something where he can have that agency is terrifying, and RNG are paying for it. Scout on the flank now.
I mean, Scout's TP to the other side of the fight, getting onto Ming, depth charge onto Gala. EDG collapsing in as Gala's against the wall. We don't scream his name today. As Flandre angling down. More adoration for Viper. The snake is poison. It's going to kill you dead.
And it's routed RNG where they stand. Fantastic flank from Scout, and EDG pounce. There is nowhere to go. Scout, brilliant abscond abduct over the wall. We'll just be able to follow up Xiaohu with the flash here. And then, as you say, like, resets, TPs into the mid lane, repositions himself as this Baron is about to come through. And RNG don't even realize it. They assume that he's going to be on the top side of the fight, so when they try to kite backwards, they're last thing they expect is a Sylas in the back line. Depth charge onto Gala. Flandre follows up, and there's no more damage left on RNG's side.
Look at that confident close corridor. Jiejie's all perfect as well with the 3-man. And with Viper getting the last piece of adoration too, 3.5 items here for this AD carry. Gala and Breathe, we've been waiting for them to get 3 items. And Dagda, I asked you, what happens if it's just too late? 9k gold lead. Next Dragon coming up, EDG holding the game in the palm of their hands, holding this match of the week. Looking like a win for now. RNG better bring something special out, or this is going to be a broken base in the next fight. Potentially the game, with their timers getting longer.
I just don't think RNG fight this. I mean, third Cloud Dragon isn't a big deal, but Xiaohu might be caught.
Oh, good whirling death. Okay, Viper doing damage, stealing away the red buff. No, Wei gets it in the end as the barrel chain from Breed doesn't do too much. Had a bit of a quiet game on this GP with the cannon barrages coming in, you know, so defensively all the time. As EDG continues spiraling through this jungle, I mean, Xiaohu, Breed, hovering over the wall. Wei getting the stun, but it doesn't matter. RNG are getting harassed in multiple lanes. The Baron buff hurting, and they've even got to deal with topside eventually as EDG even have that set up.
I mean, EDG with the Baron buff feel unstoppable, push in Flandre from the mid lane, and RNG need to fall back, so EDG get the bot tower. Still damage being taken in the mid lane. Gala and Wei trying to clear that one out, which is kind of opening up for the 4-man stack here of EDG to just continue putting the pressure. Scout having the cannon barrage as well, can just throw it down under the tower, and RNG would have to back away.
Look at this, already it comes down, damage is enough as Ming is at the front line, takes a lot himself. EDG getting picked off though. There's a start, and a reset for Wei might be good news, as it's a shove from Xiaohu that brings in the defense. RNG survived for now, the Baron play denied, and Xiaohu, despite being 0-4, still got some style in him.
No jungler, but EDG are still going to start up the dragon. Doesn't look like RNG want to try and contest this. Instead, they're going to use this opportunity to try and push out waves, get some much needed gold back into their carries, and see if maybe they can get some of the standing gold that is the objective bounties that are available for them. Wei moving all the way in to steal away the red buff from Viper as well.
All right, Dagda, so the game goes on. The game that you said for RNG, relying on these carries like the Aphelios, the GP, given ample opportunities. But I'm still going to be a little bit sus on this one, because despite being a 1.1k Baron power play, EDG is still at the point of a 9k gold lead, almost 10. We're waiting for the next dragon, which will be sold for EDG. Next Baron, which will be available a little bit before that as well, 3 minutes time. So time is still lined up perfectly, and Dagda, you can just see EDG have the perfect position to continue threatening. Topside now for Inner, while Breed is spending his time bot.
Yeah, the problem is that Breed has had to go for both the Collector and the Lord Dominic's Regard, which definitely isn't efficient when it comes towards gold. He just didn't realize that he would end up against Flandre so often, has had to kind of change his build. So i.e. delayed here means that he won't be in a great position to try and push this game forward, at least from the Gangplank's perspective. You're still waiting on that Infinity Edge as well for Gala, so he's not in a great spot here when it comes towards his damage. Whereas with, I mean, almost full build for Vipers, you say Scout with the Rabadon's Death Cap being completed, like, you are hitting so hard as EDG, and I just think that RNG are running out of time here. I don't know if they have anything in them where they can continue putting this pressure on the map to buy that time.
Breed not going to be able to back away in time as well. Scott Duck is here for the barrel chain. The Everfrost, one thing dodged, but not the other. Scout healing up so much as well. No healing reduction as Breed tries. Really good sidestepping as Trial by Fire makes it close. Maybe one more thing dodged, and Breed gets away with it.
Yeah, I mean, no grievous wounds means that Scout is going to be healing so much off that Kingslayer. The Dark Seal will stay at 10 stacks for the moment, as he will get the reset coming through from Scout. And now you got to try and see if RNG can at least find some miracle to hold off on this play. Baron up in a minute and a half. His vision is established for EDG. They control the map, and you can see exactly how confident they feel with Scout taking this 1v1 against Breed.
So close. I mean, dodged quite a lot. But at the end of the day, as you said, no healing reductions. So Scout just able to get it all back with the Kingslayer, and a solo kill here for the mid laner who's 4-0-8, who this game around with the Magi's stacking up has been the one to focus on, considering that him and Junja have been linking up quite nicely. Now for the play, Flandre's jumping in with Gnar at the ready. Wei against the turret, won't be dismayed. He has the Heartbreaker out, and that's right before the Baron spawns. 45 seconds. Cooldown might not link up here with it being available when that objective comes up, Dagda. But EDG are getting so much vision control yet again in this enemy side of the jungle because of it.
And they're constantly grouped up, so Xiaohu can't look for a pick with the Weaver's Wall. They're not really getting the opportunity in RNG to answer for EDG. So with all this vision, like, it is completely dark on the map for RNG. There is just no hope for them to try and contest this unless some sort of miracle happens. EDG are playing this so well.
Well, Breed now has 4 items with an Infinity Edge, so maybe there's a little bit of hope here, a little bit more wave clear. Fourth item almost set for Gala. As you said, EDG being clinical though, and 5 seconds till the Baron. Dagda, no visions on this neutral, but RNG as they group up as a 4-man unit, and as Xiaohu TP's in, this is going to be the fight as Meiko waiting in the brush. Gnar coming up as well. Barrel chain from Breathe. Can he imitate Johnny Depp in this game, as Gala's going to be the target with Scout having a depth charge. Flandre now Gnar as well, and RNG in a choke with a flash on the Gnar. Meiko gets hit with the barrel chain, it's good, but not a good ulti from Flandre as he gets pulled in. Baron might be taken, but he has to flash to get out of there. Meiko's low. Breathe going way too far forward. Flash with the Shield of Day breaks there as ulti held on by Junja, the Cannon Barrage in a choke. RNG getting kill number 1. EDG Dagda, they've not played this fight well as they'll get the Baron, but losing one in the process before their soul comes up. RNG trading it off.
I mean, this is the thing. The barrels from Breathe are going to be hitting like a truck. You can see it there on Meiko. And Gala, a big Infernum Vigil, could change the outcome of this game if EDG let them. But EDG now trying to establish the control on bot side. But TP from RNG, they know that they can stop this dragon. They know that they can prevent Soul from EDG.
Well, RNG going to be here first. Junja waiting in the pixel brush with Viper behind him, but it's Draven versus Aphelios as they all run towards them.
Weaver's Wall.
Ming not there as the Weaver's Wall comes through, and Xiaohu is hit off early at half HP. Look at the whirling death. Viper still playing the angle beautifully as the barrel chain doesn't connect, and Breathe won't have the setup. The Solar Flare makes them all flash, and RNG have now been forced off the objective. Xiaohu's too low, Dagda.
I mean, Wade can look for the steal, but he can't get any sort of vision in there. So EDG, despite the 4v5, push RNG off the objective, and EDG will take the soul.
And even in late game, I mean, Viper playing this Draven at such a good angle. EDG getting the soul, as you said. I mean, Viper adding so much effort in. And for RNG right now, the defense will continue, still behind. About 8,000 gold at this point as we look at the replay. And this is where EDG Dagda got caught out in a choke, and RNG got the setup that they wanted with EDG walking at them.
Yeah, this is all about Barons and Vigils now for RNG. Like that one barrel chain, half-healthy Meiko, but you called it here. Breathe goes too far forward, thinking maybe he can finish off some low-health members, but RNG have already gotten out of the fight. They don't want any more. The barrel chains aren't really landing very well, and yes, they will get the 1,000 gold shut down to Gala, which is fantastic, pushing him up to his 5th item. But for RNG, it wasn't enough to try and hold their position on that fight.
Well, they've got the Baron on 4 members, and EDG now as we come back to live. It's going to be all about this push, Dagda, because last time around they couldn't break the base. It was a pick off on Junja on the bottom side, which has kept this game going with the GP you talked about with the barrel chain and Gala with the Moonlight Vigil. They're all walking in. Seismic Shove sets the pick up. Meiko about to die. Moonlight Vigil sets him up. Gala's over the wall. He flushes out, but another Seismic Shove. A 0-4 Taliyah. I have never seen more impact coming through a mid laner who has been absolutely crushed. The base will stay healthy, and EDG are getting slowed down again.
There's no way. RNG have actually denied any sort of access to their base. The Baron has gone. There's no more Baron waves for EDG. That was their moment to crack the base, and we're starting to see the damage come through. We're starting to see what RNG can do now that we're hitting this late game, and I mean, there's no more growth for EDG. Viper is full build. Scout is nearly there, whereas Breed and Gala are starting to become huge and a major issue for EDG.
And that burst is so unpredictable. I mean, for EDG, over the wall they get spotted out and they get absolutely evaporated. Meiko the first to go, and that's an oh, Dagda, help me. Anathema's chain.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. I feel like there's 3 different names for it from Meiko. Point being to stop one piece of the damage, but doesn't seem to be enough here as EDG, even with the Baron, are thwarted once again. Reminds me, like, you know, the movie Fun with Dick and Jane, Jim Carrey. Have you got your statistics? Right now, RNG do have their statistics. The 4th item is completed. Renan's Hurricane's there. We've also got the Zeal making item number 5 here for Breathe, as that GP seems to be the largest problem right now, and another problem of EDG, unable to get anywhere near the base Dagda. Because
they have to wait another 2 minutes for the Baron. They actually don't have the range to try and push on towards these towers. Wave clears too high with Breathe and Xiaohu, and one barrel chain, one seismic shove can shut down a push immediately from EDG and give a ton of control over towards RNG. So EDG have to wait for these objectives, but that waiting is buying time for RNG. Breathe to get his final item, the GA to come through from Gala, and right now, I mean, you still got a lot of hurt and a lot of damage Viper can churn out, but it's going to start to disappear in comparison to what Breathe and Gala can do.
I think Gala's setting himself up for a potential pentakill with this game, Dagda, if all works out well. You know, Gala has been someone who's constantly picked them up time and time again. This split, really every split since he's come in, kind of the pentakill king. And on Aphelios, as you're saying, that item coming through, the GA, the safety, Gala almost level 18 as well. And forget gold, ladies and gentlemen, forget it. 9k in EDG's favor, not going to matter as much. Remember that Xiaohu, the picks have been superb. As I said before, Dagda, the fact that this 0-4 Taliyah is having such a big impact, kind of just showing you that Xiaohu might be down, but he's not out.
And especially when he has the Rabadons coming through shortly, RNG know that they're in a decent spot here to try and draw this game out further. Baron in 20 seconds, though, will mean that they're going to be forced out of the turtle. You have to see if Breathe will reset a Breathe. Yeah, there's this mortal reminder. So full items now for Breathe as well. He'll more than likely replace that collector in coming time, with something that maybe a little bit different, like well, why is my brain? Could always swap over to Ravenous Hydra, but I don't know if that's the best bet here. Maybe you just go for the Essence Reaver instead. Continue to go for more damage, more crit, but actually won't stack with the Triforce, so we'll have to see exactly what he wants to go with. Regardless, EDG on Baron here.
But there is Gnar bar stacking up. I thought we were going to flip the Elder, maybe not look at Scout's angle. Scout's angle, but he needs an ult first. Whirling Death hits the whole team as Gnar is about to come through. Scout in a choke, but he needs to steal that depth charge yet again from Ming. It's been one of the best ultis as EDG moved back to the Baron, but it's shown that they still can't hit the base with it. Do they care as RNG are bringing in his Taliyah once again? Baron going down 4, 3, 2, 1, and depth charge stolen. What?
Cannon Barrage!
Cannon Barrage steals it! I can't breathe. Not anymore. With RNG getting the Baron, EDG have lost the objective with a cheeky R from RNG's top lane.
How does Cannon Barrage steal it? That is huge for RNG. Now, they're perfect position for the Elder as well. Look at where EDG are. Viper's got such a massive road to try and come across here. Xiaohu cutting them off from this. They're just going to burst it down.
The damage is so much. Scout needs a great little ulti here as Jun just misses. Goes down the smites there. RNG now have the execution, but they need the kills to go through as Flandre is forced over the wall. Look at Xiaohu. Look at Gala. The target survives. Once again, Gala will not be dying today. RNG with the comeback of the split. Edward Gaming may be world champions, but RNG are 3 times MSI reps.
One Cannon Barrage has changed the entire outcome of this game. RNG, with 40-second death timers, they're going to look for the end Hysterics. They've done it. They've turned the game around.
A long game, 15 minutes over game 2, over game 1. This one goes the distance, and in our match of the week, RNG, thanks to Breathe, press the R button, and Jack Bloody Sparrow wins RNG this game, moves them up to 8, and I tell you what, if you out there can't breathe, I'm right along with you. RNG's top laner making a statement to blow this game wide open.
EDG think they have the series, they have the game, and all they're left with is a jar of dirt. Look at those faces. Look at the hugs on RNG's side. They knew that this game was a steal and a half away from EDG. That was incredible.
Oh my god. The Elder fight as well. The all-in. Dagda, I'm stunned. I mean, you know, RNG, as you said, turtling out that game so well. EDG got the Baron, well, almost got the Baron a couple of times, but Breathe steal. Then we get to the Elder fight, and Gala only just survives. I don't know, you never give up as RNG, you never give up. You look at that mid game and you look at their strengths, and their ability to slow that game down was superb when EDG had such a strong early game.
And it could have gone so well, so easily for EDG. Just one or two steps in a different direction. You know, being able to utilize this Baron buff a little bit better, not committing as many resources for like Cloud Dragons and this kind of stuff. Even having a bit more control over these dragons in the early stages could have brought our check down timer that 5 minutes faster, 10 minutes faster. And that could have been the difference maker here. But RNG pull it out by some miracle in the end of the game. And bringing this 3 games to a close with a win, it looks so unlikely with how strong EDG's mid-game was, but EDG just couldn't close it out.
Oh, man. I mean, so close. It's small margins, right? I feel like that's one of the ones you go back to the VODs and start watching what happened, because RNG winning that game, it just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like it should have happened when EDG were obviously the better team in that third game, Dagda, but RNG are absolutely wild. Xiaohu getting near the most damage, but Breathe deserves MVP after that one with that steal on Baron for sure.
I mean, look at that gold grab. The highest gold lead for RNG was 193 gold. They came back from a nearly 11,000 gold deficit, and what a performance. And yes, Breathe, massive performance with the Barrows, with the damage that was done to the Baron to steal it. But again, you kind of pointed out Xiaohu, the flicks on point every time, getting the stuns, picking off Meiko, picking off Junja, picking off these key members of EDG. Every time Edward Gaming thought they might have an advantage with a Baron or with the push or some sort of ability to find this game back, but they just couldn't get their success at the fights early enough, and RNG get to bring it back at all items on check.
Yeah. Oh god. That was a game. I can't believe we went almost double the time limit of game 1 and game 2. Like, we had quick, decisive games. Suddenly, we get to a stalled out late game. Breathe with the most damage. What more could you expect? But I feel like, Xiaohu gets an honorable mention here, Dagda. The fact that Taliyah had value when she was 0-6. 0-4 at one point. Xiaohu was hit in the side lanes pretty hard in the early to mid game. Then suddenly has amazing seismic shoves that help out with the picks that keep this game going.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at these KDAs just on your screen, you immediately think that EDG have won, but it's not about that.